You're listening to From Find to Fabulous podcast, where we explore energy, mindset, spirituality, and all things woo. I'm Michelle, here with Dillon and Wright, and together we are on this journey with all of you to transform our lives from mundane to magical. Hi, you guys.
Hey.
Hey,
Welcome back.
I'm back. I drove far.
you did. We did 2 separate cars this time.
Yeah.
Ready to talk about something interesting?
Always.
I was thinking we would make it a little bit different today and talk about dreams.
Okay.
What do you think about dreams?
I think that's wild because a friend of mine actually said we should do an episode on dreams. And I was like, oh, that'd be a good one. Didn't think I'd be walking into it.
Oh my gosh. Is that a synchronicity or is that a synchronicity?
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Wow.
That's cool. I like that.
Well, I'm not a dream expert. I've never taken any courses on interpreting dreams or anything like that, but I have heard different information about dreams, so I just thought it might be a fun topic. So, Dillon, do you dream?
More now than I used to, yeah.
And do you recall your dreams frequently or often or sometimes?
Not well. I feel like lately my dreams have been very grand and big and there's a lot happening. And then when I wake up, I try to recall it and I can't, only bits and pieces. But I don't know, I guess I feel like when I wake up after the dream, like right when I wake up, I still feel whatever I was feeling in the dream, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll think about it for a minute and then I'll just get up.
I think that's really interesting that you bring that up because I hear, again, remember, I'm not the dream interpreter here, but I've heard that how you feel, how you experience whatever it was in your dream is a key to the interpretation of the dream. And I've also heard about trying to remember them. Some people say they can't ever remember their dreams, and so they recommend keeping a dream journal next to your bed. And so if you wake up, if you can just jot it down. And there's something about writing it with a pen and paper rather than typing it into your phone. I can't remember what it is, but there's something about that physical act of writing it down that's supposed to make a difference.
What if I can't read my handwriting?
That's usually my issue.
What if I write it down and I look at it later and I'm like, what is
what in
this?
the world was
These
that?
hieroglyphs? Yeah.
Well, especially at night, if you're doing it in the middle of the night, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting that you brought up that you still feel how you felt in the dream. So that's interesting. Right? What about you? Do you dream?
I do. I really haven't had any lately that I can, remember. I do know that I've had some vivid dreams in the past that would be interesting to talk about just to kind of figure out what your thoughts are on what they might have meant.
Yeah.
I think that's been, kind of a challenge for me is to why did I even, how is that even in my head?
Yeah. Okay.
Or is it in my head? Is it from something else?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. So again, I don't know anything about it, but here's what I've heard. So there's basically 2 different people that I've heard who are dream interpreters. One of them is an astrologer and he does a podcast. It comes out every Monday. Love him, love him, love him. But at the end of his podcast, he does a dream segment where he either has a caller or someone emailing in a dream, and then he interprets it. He likes it better if it's a caller because then he can ask different questions to help him kind of get into really what the interpretation is. But when he doesn't have them there, he makes his best judgment on it. And if you guys want to check him out, his podcast is Conscious Embodiment, Astrology and Dreams with Dr. Michael Lennox. So he does that. I listen to that every Monday while I'm driving to work. And the dream segment is always so interesting to me, even though it's someone else's dream, and I have nothing to do with it. Just the way he interprets it is just sometimes mind-blowing to me. And then another person that I heard talk about dreams, her name is Marilyn Aloria, and she's a spiritual teacher. She also had a podcast. I don't think she talked about dreams on her podcast. But she said that everything in your dream is a representation of you in some way, shape, or form. So I think that's interesting. And then I've heard also that your dreams are a way for your subconscious mind to be working out whatever it is that, is coming up, whether it's worries, fears, wounding, fantasies, whatever. It's your subconscious mind. So I just thought it was very interesting that if you think about your dream and everything in your dream being a representation of you in some way, shape, or form. And again, when I have a dream, I go Google it. Like if I have a dream about being attacked by a dog, I'll go Google being attacked by a dog in a dream, or dreaming of being attacked by a dog.
Like, what does this mean?
Whatever. Now, again, there's lots of different interpretations. So for me, when I read through the interpretations, I go with whichever one stands out to me. It's the same kind of thing when you are, for example, pulling a tarot card for somebody. There's many interpretations of that card, but how it resonates with somebody, that's the meaning for them. So that's why you can read for so many different people and different situations and circumstances, because it's how it resonates with you. So there can be a general underlying meaning, but then how it, fits with your situation or your life is the correct interpretation for you in that moment. So it can change. So for example, I had a friend a while back who told me that he had a dream of a dog that kept coming at him and biting him and coming after him. And he was in a crowd of people and nobody else was paying attention to him and this dog, even though there were people all around. And it was somebody in the group's dog, but it kept attacking him. So then I go and look it up. I'm like, okay, well, if you think about it, what does a dog represent in life? Loyalty. Companionship. Like that's what our dogs, like our best friend, right? That's what our dog represents to us. So if you're dreaming that you are being attacked by a dog, and it represents you. So if you are the dog attacking you, I would, if that dog is representing you, I would look at that and say, well, where in life are you not being loyal to yourself? Where in life are you not protecting yourself? Where in life are you not taking care of your own well-being?
Yeah, so it makes you think deeper than just the dog versus person. It's
exactly.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't even have thought of that.
Because I would say rarely it's literal. So if you think about, if you are supposed to be your own best friend, but you're attacking yourself, then how is it showing up in your life that you're not standing up for yourself, or you're not protecting yourself, or you're not looking out for your own well-being? So that would be that's where my mind goes when I think of everything in your dream as a representation of you.
When you're dreaming, have you had, so I guess, like, would you be more like in the first person view, or like looking outside down on yourself? Like, does that make sense?
I think when I dream, I'm usually like a player in the dream. I think it's usually me in it doing it and not looking down on it like I'm watching a movie.
Okay.
Is that your experience of dreams?
I think for me, most of them I've been like first person. So I've been, me looking out as I would in real life.
Yeah.
But there has been a time where I was watching myself, which was weird.
Oh, I wonder what kind of dream that is.
Yeah, so that was just that's why I was,
Did you feel like you could control the dream? Like you could make it go whatever way you want?
It's like I couldn't do anything.
Oh.
I can only watch. I didn't have any control of what was happening. I can only witness.
Oh, interesting. So you were seeing yourself from outside of yourself.
And I've only done that once, or had that experience once. It was weird.
Oh, I'm going to have to Google that. I don't know. I've never heard that before. That's very interesting, though. Yeah, I will definitely Google that and see if that's a thing
maybe I felt like I didn't have control over anything in my life, and
Yeah,
I was just
maybe.
watching or something. I don't know. I never
Yeah.
really thought about it until now.
Yeah, I don't know. That is very interesting. I'll have to look that up and see if it's a thing. Dylan, have you ever had that kind of experience in a dream where you felt like you were outside of yourself watching it as if you were watching a movie?
Mm, I can't recall, but I think all of the dreams I do remember are like first person. But I have done the um controlling the dream before. Like I practiced it once and it worked.
What's that called? I can't remember.
Lucid
Lucid
dreaming.
dreaming.
And
Yes.
I think I read this was back in like 2012. I was living in Florida, and I read online that you could control your dreams and even go as far as to like even continue studying stuff in your dream, or like thinking about stuff, like pondering things while you're asleep. So I tried that, and it said to put like a marker dot on your hand and train yourself to like check it every 5 minutes, and then when you don't see it, you'll realize you're in the dream, and then everything just unlocks. It's really crazy, but I didn't do it very long because one night I woke up in like a sleep paralysis thing, which is a side effect that could happen. It happened like 3 days into me making it work. So,
So you got
and
scared and stopped?
well, yeah, because I was like, I was sleeping on my stomach, and it, like I woke up, I couldn't move, and my arms and my legs were like extended and being like pulled backwards. So I was like freaking out.
I can
But I lived
imagine.
with my uncle at the time, and I could hear him in the next room. He was doing like online classes at the time,
Mm-hmm.
so I was able to say like, okay, I know where I'm at. This will pass, I think. And then it eventually like I was able to like calm down and go to sleep, but I didn't do it after that.
Yeah, I've heard sleep paralysis things from other people. I've never experienced that, but it sounds really scary.
Yeah, I have a friend who experiences it um like quite often, and he doesn't do the lucid dream thing.
Oh wow.
Um and his wife actually sleepwalks. So, yeah.
So between the two of them, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But they're the healthiest marriage I've ever seen, so honestly,
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
yeah. Lucid dreaming or
Yeah, no, lucid dreaming and the dot on the hand. The dot on the hand.
yeah.
So I have heard of lucid dreaming, and I've actually heard that you can use that type of dreaming to create the life that you want, or to um, achieve a goal that you're trying to achieve, or, create the lifestyle that you want. I have heard that you can practice um, imagining or creating that vision for yourself
Mm-hmm.
and visiting it in a dream, and then actually achieving it in your real life. So I think that's a very cool way to, go about trying to manifest what it is that you want in life.
You know, that could work well with, if you could get it down to a science where you can always do it and not wake up thinking of demons on your back.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I would use it to like do public speaking stuff all the time, like if I could.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just go speak about something in front of a bunch of people. Like say I have an anxiety of that,
Mm-hmm.
which in real life I really don't, but um that could be like a skill that you hone while you're sleeping,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's not like wasted time. Like it's not wasted time because you're resting and recharging, but if you could also utilize that to be productive, I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. I think that's really interesting. I actually, when my children were little, they were involved in dance, and I was involved a lot in making dance costumes. And so one of the little groups needed a little dress or something, and I created the vision for the dress and how to create a pattern on my own in a dream, and woke up the next morning and just drew it out on newspaper cut out these dresses, put them together. And my mom was like, how did you do that? I said, I don't know. It just came to me in a dream. It was so simple. It was nothing very detailed. She was like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? But it just came to me like, this is how I'm going to solve this thing, where I didn't have to go by a pattern. It wasn't super detailed. It was very simple, but yet I could make 6 of them in a period of time that was, super easy and repeatable. And my mom was just like, wow. My mom was an avid sewer. She was a seamstress.
You should have opened up a business called dream weaving.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It's actually not bad.
That's a good one.
I wonder if
Anyway,
that's how Henry Ford started Ford. Like he dreamt of the car and then
yeah,
woke
maybe.
up and like created it. I wish that
Right?
would happen to me.
So don't you feel like that's the case though? Like dreams can help you with future things, and it can also be working out old traumas or wounds or whatever, or it can predict the future. It can be about, just stuff in your sight. I just feel like there's just so
Oh.
much there in a
You
dream.
know what's really crazy? And I don't know if this happens often anymore because I don't really remember my dreams very well, but when you're in your dream and how do I explain this? It's like you're about to wake up and your body knows you're about to wake up and your dream is a cliffhanger right there. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but it's like
Like if you're like left with a choice or you don't know what's going to happen next type thing, or
no, it's more like it's like I'm waking up right before something's happening that's important in the dream, I guess. But it's like my internal clock knows my alarm's about to go off. So it's like I don't know how to explain that.
So you have to wake up. Well, what do you think? What do you think the point of it coming right up to the climax of the dream, and then you waking up?
I just don't know how my dream can know I'm about to wake up. Like it knows the exact moment and it tailors the dream to like stop there. I'm not explaining it the
maybe
best
it's
way.
your like subconscious trying to get you to up to that point of that decision process of maybe you should think of this, or maybe this is what's bothering you or making you uncomfortable or making you comfortable, whatever it is. And it's saying, all right, it's time to get going, but here's where you're at. Where are you going to go now?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't remember the dream specifically, but it's like it knows when to end because you're waking up. And I think there's something about you only dream in the later half of your sleep or something. You ever heard that?
It's in a certain, I
Like
don't know.
REM.
Again, yes.
Yeah.
It's in your REM sleep. I was going to say in the REM cycle. And again, I'm no expert on any of this. It's just what I've heard.
Yeah.
So can't you have more than one REM cycle per night?
I think so.
Because
I've had multiple dreams in one night.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I think I've woken up briefly
too.
and then went back to sleep and then had a completely different dream.
Yes. Me too. Me too. And so I feel like, that's our body's natural rhythm in sleep, where you first fall asleep and then you go deeper and deeper into sleep and then you REM, then you may wake up and then, and I mean, people have monitors and stuff for how they sleep at night, right? So you can kind of tell. I don't have that, but I'm sure some people do.
So when you have a dream and you do something that you wouldn't normally do, or brings you like a feeling of like fear or like remorse, does that like affect you during the day, or can you sit with yourself and say, hey, that was just a dream, I didn't actually experience it even though I felt like I did? Like how quickly can you process that?
I mean, I think it's exactly what you just said, talking to myself in my head, because especially if it's a fearful dream, a scary dream or something, and you wake up and you feel the fear when you wake up. So yeah, I think probably I have to talk myself through it. It doesn't just go away. And then my mind always goes to, what in the world was that about? I always try to go and figure out what the subconscious meaning of it was. I think that it definitely takes some time and it takes some talking. And I don't remember the super details of all my dreams. Like Dillon mentioned in the beginning, sometimes just snippets of it. And so then I wonder to myself, like, oh, well, that snippet that I remembered that's making me feel this certain emotion has to have some sort of bigger meaning that I need to figure out what it is, because it's trying to tell me something, I would think. So I usually just do exactly what you said and talk myself through it, go Google it, try to make it make sense and see what meaning I can come up with for whatever's going on in my life or in my past or whatever, make it relate to something so that I can learn from it and move forward from it and use it, right? Especially if it's something that's going on, in the now that, I'm struggling with, or that doesn't feel good or whatever, then I want to use that to try to help myself. And I've also heard that, the details of your dreams are important. Like if you have a certain color in your dream, or if you have numbers that show up in your dreams, things like that. So I always go Google those things. Like one time I remember having a dream where I don't know what I was doing. I was going somewhere. Somebody was driving me and dropping me off, and they dropped me off, and I ended up in front of a red spiral staircase. And so my mind was like, oh, okay, well, what does that mean? Red means something, what does it mean? What does a spiral staircase mean? What is it? So of course I start Googling it. And so when I Googled it, again, it has multiple different meanings. So you have to figure out where you are and which one resonates with you. So I Googled it and I found that a spiral staircase can symbolize a journey of spiritual growth and inner exploration, potentially involving the sublimation of energy and connection to a higher realm. I was like, oh, isn't that interesting? Because it probably was during a time when I was, thinking about spirit guides and thinking about, things like that. And then the color red can be associated with passion, energy, excitement. And then the fact that it was a spiral staircase, is different than a regular staircase, right? So spiral could mean transitions and, like hurdles, and not just a direct path to something, but, like a...
Well, because as you walk up it, you can't really just see where you're going. It's kind of, that you're going up, but you don't know exactly what's
Yes.
next.
I'm
Yes.
thinking of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, and I'm interpreting it very differently now.
As a spiral staircase.
Yeah. It's like the unwinding layers, of ourselves, or layers in this case of spirituality, or, different things like that. So I just thought that was very interesting. And also my mind probably went to, well, the color red is associated with our root chakra. And our root chakra, do we know about the chakras?
I probably don't know as much as I should.
Okay, we're going to talk about those another time. Maybe a little bit here at the end.
Okay.
But your chakra is just very, and again, I'm no expert, but here's what I know about it. Your chakras are energy centers in your body, like magnetic fields. And if you can, there's a whole bunch of chakras, but there's a basic 7. And so if you can think of them as starting at the base of your spine, like at your tailbone, and then going up to the top of your head. So there's different, like 7 energy centers in your body there. And by the way, for anybody out there who doesn't dream, or say they never dream, or they don't remember their dreams, it could be because your chakras aren't balanced. And so, because if you're living in your lower 3 chakras, most of the time, which is about fear, insecurity, not feeling grounded, not feeling good enough, then your chakras are basically blocked from your bottom of your rib cage down. So of course you're not dreaming, because you're not getting up to your head, right? Chakra. So anywho, we'll talk about chakras again on another episode. But just in general, I wanted to throw that out there for people who are sitting out there going, oh, I'm listening to this, but I never dream. Well, that could be why. And maybe if we have time at the end, we can do a quick little meditation to balance the chakras and see if anybody experiences a dream who hasn't.
I never really thought about that. If you start, taking care of your body and taking care of yourself, then you'll probably see or witness more dreams.
Yeah, definitely. And I tend to dream a lot more vividly around full moons. Does anybody else experience that?
Well, I never know when the full moon is. I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
I don't really look
We
into
usually send you pictures of the full moon.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So I don't know. Maybe other people out there experience the same thing, but I tend to dream or surrounding a full moon. I would say a few days before, a few days after, and they tend to be very vivid dreams. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all about, but I've noticed that. But anyway, so colors mean different things. So one time I remember having a dream where everything was green. It was like I was doing a photo shoot or a commercial or whatever. Don't know why. Not part of who I am, but anyway, in my dream it was, and everything was green. The signs were green, the set props were green, people were wearing green, everything was about green. So of course I want to know what green means, right? Well, green is associated with your heart chakra, and it also can symbolize a lot of different things. So again, when you go look at what it means, what does this represent for you with what's going on in your life at the time? So it can symbolize growth, nature, harmony, renewal, money, envy, all kinds of different things can be associated with the color green. So again, you have to figure out, what is it that it resonates with you when you go to look that up. Someone else had told me one time that they were having a dream. And again, when people tell me they're having a dream, I'm like, ooh, wonder what that means. And I go Google it for them to help them determine what it means. So just my own curiosity, right?
Yeah.
I have a very curious mind. I want to know about all the things.
Yeah.
So somebody told me that they had a dream, and it was about being in the back seat of a car and going somewhere. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that means. So I go look it up. I'm like, oh, being in the back seat of a car can mean that you're feeling passively involved in your life, lacking control, feeling dependent on others because you're not in the driver's seat. Right? So see, a simple thing like that in a dream where you probably wouldn't think anything of it, but then you go and look up what it means. Like, oh, well, am I feeling out of control in my life? Am I feel like I'm too dependent on someone else for whatever? For my income? For my security? For my what?
I bet that's how Uber was started. I bet the creator of Uber had a dream he was a passenger. I was like, I can monetize
Wouldn't that
this.
be interesting to know?
Oh.
Yeah, very cool. So anyway, so I just thought, that it would be a good thing to talk about dreams today and just kind of give people a perspective about, what it could potentially be meaning. And it could be, like I said, working out things that are going on in your subconscious from your childhood, or it could be predicting the future. So I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting.
That is interesting. But what if you're like 14 and you don't have a driver's license?
Well, still, you can feel out of control of your own life, especially if you have very controlling parents.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can feel like you don't have any control over anything that you say or do. And think about it. When you become a teenager, the one thing that you want is more freedom and more autonomy, right? You're trying to figure out how to become independent of your parents, especially thinking about, oh, I'm going to go off to college, or I'm going to, whatever. You don't want to have your parents controlling every part of your life, and you need to be able to make decisions for what you're going to eat for breakfast today.
Yeah.
Or what time you're going to wake up.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I think it's relevant to all ages of dreamers.
I agree.
How are we doing on time? Do we have time to do a quick little meditation on our chakras, balancing our chakras?
Of course. Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So everybody, we'll make this super quick, but for those of you out there who don't ever dream, we'll try to see if we can just clear up some of your chakras. And then if you have a dream after this, you have to let us know.
That'd be wild.
Because curious minds want to know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right, let's do the meditation.
All right.
Okay.
So everybody just close your eyes, sit comfortably, lie down. So we're going to do just a really quick meditation. And so I know if you're driving, please don't do this. Wait until you're at home or
or
somewhere.
if you're in a Waymo,
Yeah,
one of those
don't be
auto-driving cars.
operating any heavy machinery or anything like that while we're doing this.
Airplane pilots,
if you are
autopilot on.
if you are in a place where you can participate and close your eyes and either sit comfortably or lie down, that's perfect. If you can't, don't worry, you can just listen. Okay. So we're just gonna kind of get ourselves to relax just a little bit. So everybody just taking a deep breath and hold it for a second. And then let it go. And as you let it go, feel your shoulders drop and relax. And then we're going to do that again. Hold it and let it go. All the while feeling your shoulders relax, your jaw muscles relax. And one more deep breath in. And let it go. Okay, now I want you to visualize a red ball of light at the base of your spine. And make that ball of light rotate clockwise. And just watch it rotate clockwise. And then reverse the rotation. Have it go counterclockwise. And then let go of the control of the way that it's rotating. And just know in your mind that it is rotating in exactly the way that it's supposed to. This ball of red light is at the base of your spine. And now I want you to take your attention and go up just a little bit to about 2 inches below your navel. And this is your sacral chakra, and it is orange. So imagine an orange ball of light rotating there within your body, a couple inches below your navel. And have it rotate clockwise. And then stop it and have it rotate counterclockwise. This is just clearing up any stagnant energy that may be within. And now let go of control of the way that it's rotating and just allow it to rotate. But I want you to imagine that it's rotating in synchronicity with your root chakra. So now you've got your red and your orange balls of light rotating together. They're working together. And then take your attention and go a little bit further up to just below your rib cage. This is your solar plexus chakra, and it's represented by the color yellow. So imagine a yellow ball of light rotating there, and make it rotate clockwise. And then stop it and have it go counterclockwise, clearing up any stagnation there. And then let go of control of the rotation and let it just rotate. But imagine that it's now rotating in exact harmony with your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and now your solar plexus chakra. Red, orange, and yellow, all rotating in harmony with each other. And then from here, we're going to go up a little bit further to the center of your chest. This is your heart chakra, which is represented by the color green. So imagine your ball of green light rotating in a clockwise motion. And then have it go counterclockwise. And then let go of the control of which way it's rotating and allow it to go into its natural rotation in perfect harmony with your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, and now your heart chakra. So now we've got 4 of them rotating in harmony with each other. And then we're going to take our attention up to our throat chakra, which is the color blue, if you can imagine a sky blue. And just imagine your sky blue ball of light here rotating in a clockwise rotation. And then go the other way, have it rotate counterclockwise. And then just allow it to fall into its own rhythm. And imagine that it's in perfect harmony with your other chakras below. And they're all rotating together. And then we're going to take our attention and we're going to move up to our third eye chakra, which is right between your eyebrows in this center of your forehead. And the color for this chakra is indigo. And so if you can imagine a indigo ball of light, rotate it clockwise. And now have it go counterclockwise. And now let go of control of which way it's rotating and let it go back to its normal pattern. And just imagine that it is now falling into synchronicity with your other chakras below. They're all working together, all rotating the same in perfect harmony. And then we're going to go up to the top of your head, which is your crown chakra. And the color represented here is violet. So if you can imagine a violet ball of light rotating clockwise. And then have it go counterclockwise. And then release control. And now I want you just to imagine that all of these chakras are rotating in perfect harmony with one another. And let's take a deep breath in. Hold it. And let it go. Go ahead and open your eyes, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And this is a very simple exercise that you can do anytime you feel out of balance with any one of your chakras. And maybe we can do another episode on the chakras and what they mean and what they represent. That's all very interesting stuff as well. But for now, I would love it if you let us know if you are a person who you considered yourself a non-dreamer who suddenly has a dream after this. That would be very, very interesting.
Is this a dream?
I feel relaxed. I feel like I could start dreaming.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Shall we pull a card real quick before we go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And while Michelle's pulling a card, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's, liked and subscribed to us on YouTube and even had some comments in there we were able to respond to. So it'd be really interesting to find out if anybody has any dreams that they would like to share with us. Maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah, very interesting. And yes, I agree. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of the interaction with our YouTube channel. And for those of you listening on podcasts, if you would leave a review, that would be super helpful too. And, we're just thrilled to be having our conversations that we always talked about random things in the office, and sharing it with all of you is even more fun. So we really do appreciate all of you participating with us, playing with us. Okay, I'm going to pull a card from the Soul Coaching Oracle by Denise Lynn. And two just flew out of the deck.
Whoa.
I was just asking what are this is called what your soul wants you to know. So what our soul wants us to know right now. So we got two cards. The first card we got is passion. And these cards have a mantra that goes with them. And so I'll give you the mantra at the end of it. But the card meaning is follow your bliss. Discover what you absolutely love to do or be, and then, like an arrow directed at its target, don't let anything stop you from fulfilling your passion. Exuberant emotions are coming to you, perhaps in the form of a romance. Your soul wants you to know if you're having difficulty discovering what you're passionate about, go back into your childhood and remember what gave you joy then. If you loved to dance as a child, sign up for a movement class. Better yet, put on music and boogie in the living room to your soul's delight. If you adored your crayons, then pull out those colors and splash their bright hues from one side of the page to another. If you enjoyed observing the insects in your backyard, maybe sign up for a nature study course. Once you're clear on what you are passionate about, do whatever it takes to follow that. Don't wait until it's too late. Many people declare that they'll follow their passion when they retire or have extra time, or consequently, they never experience the absolute exuberance of life. Do it now. If not now, when? Live your life with passion. And the affirmation that goes with this is, I passionately accept and love myself. And then the second card that came out is commitment. And this card says, the card meaning is, this is the time to make the commitment. So stand tall, don't hesitate, and give your word. Keep your promise, and your word becomes law in your universe. Your soul wants you to know making a commitment is taking a stand. It's declaring to yourself and the universe that you're unwilling to settle for less than excellence. It means that you keep your word, especially to yourself. Fear of doing this because you might fail sends a message to your subconscious mind that you are a failure. Of course, there's always the possibility that you might not succeed. But to hesitate because of fear instead of forging forward keeps joy and freedom at bay. So decide now. Any decision is better than none at all. The most important promises that you make are to yourself. Forgive yourself when you don't honor your word, and then, without shame, recommit yourself with passion and gusto. And the affirmation with this card is, my commitments increase my joy and freedom. And I think that's interesting that it talks about your subconscious mind, because we just talked all about dreams and how these things are coming up in your subconscious mind. And so if you've got things coming up in your dreams from your childhood, maybe that's your subconscious mind telling you to get in line with your passions and to do things that you find fun, joyful, and, exciting.
I like that.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I'm tired.
All right. Well, we relaxed you with our meditation, huh?
Yeah,
You need
yeah.
a nap now?
I'm like yawning over here. Like my eyes are like getting all watery.
Well, that's because you're laying down.
I'm not laying down.
All right. Well, before Dillon loses his consciousness over there, we will say goodbye, and we will see you next time.
See you, everyone.
Sounds good. See you next time.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We are truly grateful for each of you. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to follow us on whatever platform you are listening. If you're listening on a podcast platform, please consider leaving a review. If you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're alerted when new episodes are released. Please also leave comments. We would love to know what you think. You can also share this with someone that you think might enjoy our content. Any interaction with the channel truly helps it grow. You can also email us at michelle@fromfinetofab.com, and that's Michelle with 2 L's. Until next time, be fabulous. This podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We are not medical, legal, or financial professionals, so always consult a qualified expert before making any changes to your life.